Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In another chapter, Ibrahim started here. Allah Ta'ala showing the signs how Allah Ta'ala loves a person and what is the means of acquiring it, and giving encouragement to build up that love for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. When Allah Ta'ala loves somebody, then what are the signs of, what are the symptoms of the person loving Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and how must you acquire the love of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, that Allah Ta'ala can start loving us also. So here in this chapter, Imam Nabi Ta'ala explaining those ayahs of the Quran and those ahadith where it shows the way how we can love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, so that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala can love us also. The first sign from the mentioned that ayah from the Quran, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is telling Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, O Nabi, if you tell the people that if you want to love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then you must follow me. I must follow Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then what will the return of that? The result of that will be that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will start loving you. When Allah Ta'ala loves you, the return of that is that Allah will forgive your sins also. And Allah Ta'ala is the one who forgives a lot of sins also. So a person who wants to love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then there's one sign which Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has mentioned, that if you want to love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then you could follow the teaching of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, follow the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, follow the sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in whichever ways can be, whatever aspect of our facet of our lives it is, follow the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam commanded us to conduct our lives, try and understand that and follow that way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This will show that this will be a sign that you are loving Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we try as much as possible to emulate the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in our lives. The more we go forward in emulating the life of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, following the teaching of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this will show that we love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also. Because whatever Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is teaching us, whatever he taught us, is all and that which Nabi Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has commanded Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to explain to us or to guide us. So in reality, if we follow the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we're following the way of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and we follow the command of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then definitely Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will love us, and in return Allah will forgive our sins also. Just find the world, if a person claims something, then the people say, we are true in your claim, then give some proof towards it. Show some signs that what you're claiming of loving somebody. Show the signs of it. So here also, when you say love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then what are the signs of love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Allah Ta'ala said here, if you want to love me, then you must follow the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala give us that understanding, and that tawfiq also Allah Ta'ala give us to love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala through Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala can start loving us also. First, you become the love of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. First, you start loving Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and then after that, and then you become the love of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala starts loving you. And to whom Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala loves, then his stages is much more higher than a person who only loves Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So to achieve that stages and the status where Allah Ta'ala starts loving you, the first step is you must start loving Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala through the media of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hazrat Allama Shabir Ahmad Sahab Usmani Rahmat Nawar al-Muqaddahu, he says that you should read the Quran and the tafsir of the Quran, the translation of the Quran should read. See, many places you find Allah Ta'ala mentions of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. There's so much mention of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam compared to all other Anbiya. So he said, because of it, I thought that how is it that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the last of all prophets, and how come that Allah Ta'ala loves I've mentioned so much of Hazrat Musa al-Islam in the Quran. For example, one place Allah Ta'ala said, وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِنِّي تُسْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. That I have put my love into Hazrat Musa al-Salam, that I want to see him literally in front of me, in other words. So when Allah Musmani Rahmatullah when I read all this ayat also and all other ayats of concerning Hazrat Musa al-Islam, a thought came to my mind that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Sayyidul Anbiya, the leader of all the Anbiya Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah Ta'ala never mentioned something like this for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So why is that? When this doubt came to my mind, you say, while reading the Quran, when I came to this ayat, when I came to understand, when I started pondering over this ayat, I came to understand that this is where Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, if you love Allah, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then you will love me also. And you will love me, then I will love you also. So to get the love of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the medium to touch your love of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Whereas as Musa Alayhi Wasallam, Allah Ta'ala never mentioned that. So that from this, my doubt completely got solved because of this. When I had read this ayat and I pondered over this ayat, then my doubt also got finished and there's no confusion left in me. And surely Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam status is higher than Hazrat Musa Alayhi Wasallam also. Another ayat which Imam Nabi Rahmatullah Alayhi has put forward here is that showed that how Allah Ta'ala, the signs of which Allah Ta'ala loves somebody, in the ayat where Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ma yartadda an dini fasabu ya'tillah biqawmin yuhibbunah adillatan 'alal mu'minin 'izzatan 'alal kafirin wajahiduna fi sabilillah wa la yakhafuna lawmata la'im dhalika fadlullahi yu'tihi man yasha wallahu wasi'un 'alim. Allah Ta'ala says, all the people who brought Iman, that person who turned away from Iman, otherwise turned away from Islam, he becomes a murtad in other words. So in other words, that you are not going to harm Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in any way. Allah Ta'ala is Ghani. And since you can't harm Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala by turning away from the deen of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala say, if you do something like that, then Allah will bring another nation to existence who Allah Ta'ala will love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala will love them also. And when they meet the people of Mu'mineen, people who've got Iman in them, then they meet one another with a lot of humbleness, with a lot of sincerity. They meet one another, and compared to the non-believers, then they are very firm against them also at the same time. And they exert themselves in the path of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also. And if anybody tries to hurt them in any ways, or pass remarks to them in any ways, or want to demoralize them, whatever in the ways concerning Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, they don't worry of all those comments, whatever it is, but they always stay strong and firm on the deen of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and they propagate the deen of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in such a manner that they love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in such a way that people can try to demoralize them also, or to speak against them, or to discourage them also. It won't hamper them at all, because they only love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And with the Mu'mineen, they are very humble with the Mu'mineen, they are very sincere with the Mu'mineen, and the non-believers, they stern and firm against them. So this is the stage or the situation where whoever Allah Ta'ala wishes, Allah Ta'ala gives them this status. Allah Ta'ala is very great, and Allah is very generous, and Allah Ta'ala gives whoever He wishes, and Allah Ta'ala knows very well who He must give and who He mustn't give. So here also it shows that you love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then you will love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala with full sincerity. You won't get disturbed with the conditions around us, whatever it is, and feel hurt against the laws of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You turn away from the laws of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and that won't harm Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But in the meantime, you're harming yourself, in other words. So people start disobeying Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala don't worry of them. Allah will change them with another nation, with other people who will love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah will love them also. And the signs for loving Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is what? When the Mu'mineen, they're very kind towards them. they are sincere with them. And those who are the non-believers, and they are firm against them. They don't contaminate their their beliefs or the amal because of them. So it just show that you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you find mostly in the Sahaba Karam, this was the main quality you find in the Sahaba Karam, that they loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and loved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and didn't worry of the taunting or the passing of remarks of the non-believers. They didn't worry for all those things, but they knew what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is correct and true, or the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said is correct and true. They were steadfast on the teaching of Islam. That's why they progressed so much. So if you want to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we could bring our iman to that level also. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains one, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says one hadith, that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that narrated from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that any person who makes enmity with my friend, my wali, then I announce a war with that person, and I threaten them with war, with one, and I challenge them also. So this is one part of the hadith which is mentioned here, where if anybody try to harm and hurt a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah Ta'ala declares a war against him. Allah Ta'ala challenges him that how can you have enmity with my friend, because have enmity with my friend means you have enmity with me. But my friend is that person who follows my commands and my orders. He follows my way of life. Follows. So you have enmity with him, means you have enmity with me also. So Allah Ta'ala declares a war against that person. The same and find the Quran also, where Allah subhanahu was also challenges somebody. Where Allah Ta'ala says, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَأَذُنْ بِحَرْبٍ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. So here, this ayat is mentioned where, when the ayat of prohibition of interest took place, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that when a person takes interest, then he is declaring war with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so firm at that moment, said, whoever had made dealings of interest with anybody, then from now, that you can only take your original money from them, your original capital you can take from them, and don't take the excess, the interest, whatever. You got to overlook that in interest. So Sahaba were firm on that. Whichever dealings they made at that time, they make sure they cancel all their interest and dealings from there. And if they don't do that like this, what Allah Ta'ala says, then you are going to be at war with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and this is a very dangerous thing. How can we be at war with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? How can we get success to be at war with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? As Musa explains that, for example, just imagine now in a town, if a small policeman or someone who got a very low post, he comes and gives you a little bit of a warning that now just be careful now, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you, I'm going to lock you up, or I'll put a case against you, saying a warrant against you. What happened then? At that time, the whole sleep is spoiled at night also. All is worried, there's fear within yourself. You know what will happen, what can happen now. And your food also becomes tasteless. Everything becomes tasteless, and you don't, and not at ease at all. In spite of that, this person has got haven't got such a high position. He says something like that to get so worried. So imagine a person who wants to have war with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who is so high and so great, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala threatens them to, you're going to do this, I'll have war against me. How much more somebody will be careful with that? So imagine in this world, if somebody tells you something, all your peace is disturbed already. But even Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says something, then what's our condition? As Muslims can see, in spite of we call ourselves Muslims and follow the way of the command of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, way of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what is our condition? When we hear Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala say, if we're committing a war against him, still we're involved in interest dealing, let's imagine what the level of our iman gone now. So if this warning comes to us, then a Muslim can never be at ease. How can we possibly, I can't go to war with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I'll never succeed in any way. So quickly as possible, try and overcome the interest dealings and try and make peace with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then all you will find the road of success opening up for the person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala threatens a person who adopt any form of interest dealings. So one will find the threat come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran also, and second will find that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself also the warning again from his side also. So otherwise there are double warnings, one from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and one from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So how can we, a person who's got Iman, break up friendship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? You can't become enemies with Allah and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So as a mu'min, a believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, should be very cautious with our dealings and try and understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands are. To understand the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know your limits, how far to carry on. You won't overstep your limits, to stay within your limits, and you won't have war with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although you got little, you're satisfied, you'll be happy with the little you got. And the person is not satisfied with that, he wants to become more greedy, he wants more. As a result, he go to interest dealings. In the beginning, he might feel that he's progressing, but in reality, you'll find as the years go by, you'll find how much of suffering he'll be undergoing, how much of humiliation he'll be undergoing, how much of torture he'll be undergoing. That person alone will come to experience those things there. So before that time comes, rather we understand the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and act according to the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Mustafa says that Hazrat Shaykh Molana Zakariya Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi, whenever he had some gathering of people in Dini Majlis, they should always tell the people that always fear the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, always fear them always. Hazrat Shaykh says that my father, when he passed away, he left a very huge amount of debts was on his head, and all the debt came onto my responsibility now. I had to pay the debts of my father, and my family people also very, very worried now. How is he going to pay all his debts? He's working in the madrasa with no other income, whatever it is. How he will fulfill the debts of his father? And but as Shaykh said, I was very satisfied at all time. And as Shaykh said, you know very well that his father shouldn't take any loan for himself. He took loan for people, to help the people, all that. So when my father passed away, then one person came for ta'ziyat, condolence to me. He was a person of this status, and he was a wali, and was the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala gifted him with the gift of having kashf kubur. Otherwise, you should see what should happen in the grave also. You could sense all those things also. So he came to, and then he went to the grave of my father, and he made the muraqab he made there. And after that, he came back and explained to me that the father has said three things here. And he said that he told me to reveal these three things to you. The messages, the three messages from his side to you. The first thing said that always fear the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because their things can turn upside down also. Otherwise, ulti bhi seedhi hoti hai. There's something which they say that doesn't appeal to you, that also becomes to reality, becomes sometimes also. And the second message he gave was that don't worry of my debts. That debts will get paid off, person worry about that also, he said. And the third thing he mentioned was that, as Shaykh said, from when I was young, and after my father passed away also, the room I should stay, I shouldn't close the door, I shouldn't lock the door, in other words. So my father said that, the third message said that mustn't leave the door open, always lock your door when you sleep at night. And at the same time, in the hadith also is mentioned that when you sleep at night, must close your doors, but lock your doors at night also. So these three messages, his father sent for Hazrat through this person. Now the Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi, in his Kitab Abiti, he writes also that when he said it, when I heard this, that must fear the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their wrong can also become right also at the same time. Just I couldn't understand this part, you say. I just couldn't understand that how can the wrong become right also. And I should always say to myself, a wrong is wrong. How can a wrong become right all the time? It cannot be possible. Even can be a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can his wrong become right? I just couldn't understand that part. So after that, a time came, and when his Shaykh and his Ustad, Hazrat Molana Sahab Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi, he left Saharanpur and he made Hijr and he went to Madinah Munawwara. Then he made Maulana Abdul Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi as the person responsible of the madrasa. He made him in charge of the madrasa. And people should call him by the name of Hafiz Sahab. So he was famous by the name of Hafiz Sahab. And at the same time, the few people also who were opposing Maulana Abdul Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi, they had some differences whatever it was. So and Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi migrated, went to Madinah Munawwara, then these people should write letters to the Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi with some complaints of Hafiz Sahab one of the Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi. And this letter should reach him, and a lot of Saharanpur knew that this people, there was some type of enmity with one of the Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi, and whatever complaints also are not true and not genuine. These complaints are not genuine also. At one time when the letters reached there, at that time Shah Mulana Abdul Qadir Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi was also in Madinah Munawwara. When he saw this type of letters coming to Hazrat Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi, he wrote a letter to Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi in Saharanpur. A certain person, this type of letters they are writing, try and see that, and give the message to Maulana Abdul Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi that please try and keep this situation under control and try and befriend those people, whatever it is. The Sheikh said that I wrote a letter back to Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi that you also know that these people has got some type of enmity with Maulana Abdul Latif Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi, and because of that they write all wrong allegations they put against him, and they write that. And at the same time, Hazrat Saharanpur Rahmatullah also know that these people are his opponents, and they complain wrong things to so what's wrong in that? And then a few times the writer wrote to him that no, you must try and tell Hafiz Sahab and explain Hafiz Sahab this. That they should try and bring these things under control and try and befriend those people that don't write this type of letters to Hazrat Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi. When Saharanpur Rahmatullah Alayhi came back to Raipur, then asked Hazrat Raipur Rahmatullah Alayhi that why did you write this to me? They all know that these people are his opponents, all know that they're always troubling and making false complaints against him, they're making, so all know about it. So why I'm just stressing so much, I must tell Hafiz Sahab this. That brother, you see, I also know this, that whatever they are writing letters are all false allegations. There's nothing genuine in it. I also know about it. But at the same time, when the person again writes something to somebody, then slowly what happens now? That person's until doubt will start coming to the person. It will have some effect on the person. So because of this, I said that we must try and stop that person from writing this type of letters, in other words. And the bride said that our condition nowadays is what? Our condition is such nowadays, said that we are very weak, and we cannot not look after ourselves. We cannot decide and draw the line what is good and what is bad. How to control ourselves? We are very weak in that aspect, you see. A person, for example, you have friendship with somebody, and for many years you are staying with him, and you know his nature, he knows your nature, and you live together because it was such a long time. You know one another very well. In spite of that, if a person out of the blue comes and tells you something against your friend, what happens? What is our reaction? Our reaction is, first we will break our relation with that person there. We won't even try to inquire and see what was the reality of what that person has said against me. Then you won't think that for 15 years or 13 years, whatever years, I had a good relation with that person. I know his nature also, all that we will overlook all that, and we will try and break our relation with the person, and we believe that person will bring that wrong message towards you. And in spite of what I say, the person who brought this message to you and told you that this is the reality, if you ask him that person brought the message to you, how is this person's character? What do you think of that person? You see, that person is not a very reliable person. He's a person like that which you cannot rely upon. But at the same time, when this happens, then you see, I don't know where your understanding goes away. But all other matters, you don't believe that person. But on this matter, he says something, then you start believing straight away, you start believing and make a decision on that. And we have bad thoughts and evil thoughts against this person. We don't think that we can clear our air with that person, clear the air with that person. We can ask him that certain person has brought this complaint against you. What's the reality of that complaint? No, you won't think of all those things there. But straight away you will try and react on that one word that person says, and we break our relationship with that person. So this is a very big problem we have in our society. We have that a low class person can come and tell you something against your friend or against your relative, anybody. You listen to immediately, you believe him. You won't go and take the trouble to when inquire and try and see what's the reality of the complaint. Is there any reality in that complaint or not? You know, be prepared to see and go through all those things there. So that is the time has come such in our society that this ordinary person will tell you something and immediately will break our relationship with somebody. We'll have fights against that person, and we want the relationship we enjoy for 13 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is, we'll overlook all those things there. Now that our capacity of understanding things have come so low that we cannot have, we haven't got any the amount of capacity left to build up that and maintain that friendship just for so many years with us. So we could, from here, as Mustafa said, you can understand, can try and see from here, sit back and try and ponder and see the person who brings such messages to you. All other things you won't accept of his. You will say, no, that person is a liar. He made up stories. He lied us whatever. But this thing he says you against your friend, somebody, immediately believe that. Why is it like that? It should not be like that. You should try and compose yourself properly and understand, and then make a decision. At least one must value that long relationship you had with somebody. Try and maintain the relationship, not to break it for one small little doubt or something. So in other words, I was saying that no matter whatever it is, if a wrong word is being put in front of you, a complaint has been put in front of somebody, that thing does leave a doubt in a person's mind. So the person don't look after himself, and he don't try and make investigation of what has been said, then that doubt will slowly be planted in his heart and to start growing slowly. That's why, as the Shaykh said, as the Ibrahim said, that when this person will complain to Sahab, and all that also false complaints, made up stories, whatever is, in the heart also, will get that type of, it will have a type of feeling in his heart that what's happening to Hazrat. Why is he behaving like this? This type of complaints are coming. Why are complaints not being sorted out, whatever it is? So this will have impact on his heart. Feel hurt also because of this type of complaints coming to the Sanpur Rahmatullah. And when the hearts of the pious people, Allah's friends, Allah's wali, have any type of ill feeling in them or reservation in the heart they have, then that person will definitely fall into some fitna, that person there. Because you are creating a war against the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that will have a ripple effect on somebody else also at the same time. And because of that, what has been mentioned in the hadith in the beginning, right? Something will get affected, somewhere will get affected with the conditions. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why the Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam has shown this signs that don't ever talk bad with opposition or enmity with the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Hazrat Shaykh writes, when Hazrat Rahmatullah made me understand this, then I can understand what's the meaning of the wrong also can become corrected, it can become also. So it shows how important it is not to hurt the feeling of pious people at all. If you hurt the feelings of pious people, then you make harm to yourself, make harm to yourself. For example, you'll find Hazrat Madani Rahmatullah also, people should talk bad of him, should humiliate him, should disgrace him also. He never spoke a word. But the result, those people who humiliated him, harmed him, their life was very, very bad. Some died without iman also, some whatever, probably way, because he never took revenge at all. But the people who harmed them, they were very happy they were doing, but the time came when they had to pay for that harm they did to a pious person. So I'll find one place one pious person was going somewhere, and the person that was talking bad of whatever it is, he saw it, so he told one of the attendant, then go and slap that person there quickly. The person thought, how can you go and slap that person there? It's not right, correct to slap that person. He said, but go and slap him quickly. He overlooked it, now go and slap him. So the Buzzuk kept quiet, never say anything. By the time the Buzzuk reached his home, he knew that person passed away. Why? Because the Buzzuk saw that Allah's curse is on that person. Allah's anger is on that person because of harming this pious person. We say to cool that anger down, you just take a little revenge, then anger will cool down a little bit, he gets saved. But because he never take revenge, and anger became complete on the person, as a result, he couldn't bear the anger and the person passed away. So to make enmity or to harm any pious person in any way is something which is very dangerous thing. That's why you'll find in our Kabirin also, in their teachings also, in their dealings also, you'll find they are very cautious of this. Because one thing called adab, respect in deen is called. Deen is respect. This in one hadith it comes. So this respect should be very much concerned about the respect of the elders. No matter what the elders will say, should keep quiet. They shouldn't answer back also. Just say because to answer back also, it will be harmful for them. So that's what we've got to keep in mind, that whatever our elders tell us, whoever is a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't ever harm that person in any way, otherwise you will pay for the consequences you're going to pay for it. And it is mentioned also in the kitab that the biggest wali in a person's life is their parents. And then comes your ustad and peer, whoever it is. So how you deal with our parents, we could try and keep that in mind also. If you could hurt their feelings in some way, whatever it is, they might overlook it now because you are their children. But in the meantime, that hurt in the heart will definitely show colors afterwards in your life. You'll have to regret and come to realize afterwards that because I did this to my parents, now this is what's happening to me. So it shows how important it is not to hurt the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in any small way also, whether verbally also, or whether physically also, any type. Don't try and hurt their feelings, because hurt their feelings now, because the contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being disturbed because of your behavior. Now Allah ta'ala will take revenge of that. But if you don't hurt the feeling, now the contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is intact all the time, and they're enjoying the contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so others you're also benefiting now. So these are final points which we got to understand the meaning of this hadith which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned. Hazrat Washi radiallahu ta'ala accepted Islam also. His incident also is of the same category, you can see also here. So many people has got doubt against Hazrat Washi radiallahu ta'ala also. And if you listen to analyze his incident carefully, under the light of the hadith, you'll find all your doubts will go away also. Hazrat Washi radiallahu ta'ala, you know, at the time of the Battle of Uhud, he came there and he killed Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala. Actually, he was a slave, and the master told him that Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala killed one of our great people in the Battle of Badr. So take revenge, you're going to kill him. If you kill him, then I'll free you. So because of the greed of the freedom from the master, he went and he killed Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala, But after that, that was not the end of it. But the result, Hinda, who was master, they cut off the ears and the lips and nose and everything, and the lungs and all the other parts of the body, the heart, everything, and he took it and gave it to his master, and the master made a necklace of it and started rejoicing on everything. So then this scene came in Pandor of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, giving quite a bit of hurt Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One is just to kill somebody, make them shaheed. One is now to disfigure them. There is more worse than that. Just shows that the anger in the cities. So just when this happened, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was very much hurt because of this condition, and because of that he said, now because of it, they have killed Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and have disfigured him also in this manner. So it has great impact on the heart of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So once a person kills somebody, and then they disfigure the person. It's like, for example, the person is burning something and you put petrol over it, or you put paraffin over it, and the fire gets more inflamed. So in some of the example they say that one is to kill and now one is to disfigure. Now to make it even more worse, that can make it more worse. So this had a great impact on Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's heart also. So then after it, he went away to Taif from Makkah Mukarramah, and Makkah Mukarramah was conquered. Then he ran away to Taif. He ran away, and at that time Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent the Sahaba to make a siege around Taif, so they can also accept Islam, or you can get hold of this people, the Bashi also, and take a revenge from him, whatever it is. But Allah Ta'ala made it known to Hazrat Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that this is not the time to do this. So immediately the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam broke the siege of Taif, and he went and he made dua to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to give them hidayat, and came to Medina Munawwara. Now after he came to Medina Munawwara, the people of Taif also got hidayat from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. As we know before also, when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the initial stages when he went to Taif, then the people of Taif, they troubled the Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they hurt him so much, the blood came from his body and got stuck in his feet, in his sandals. At that time also, the Farishtas came and said that we are in charge of the mountains, you command us, we'll crush the two mountains together. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I came down as a mercy to mankind. I won't allow the people to die like that. Rather, I'll make dua to Allah to them hidayat. So same thing here also, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made dua for hidayat, and when hidayat came to them, and this was the time for the hidayat, then what they did, the different tribes are coming to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now to accept Islam and make tawbah on the hands of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So on the 9th year of Hijri, the people of Taif also, different groups and from different tribes were going to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Medina Munawwara, to accept Islam and make tawbah on the hands of Allah, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So in this group that was going from Taif to Medina Munawwara, the people told Beshi, you also better just go with them also, and said, and we know the way of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is, when somebody comes as a group like a deputation, then he won't harm them, he won't hurt them, he won't take revenge on them. He knows his limits what to do. So if you can go in a deputation, then he won't harm you at all, he won't do anything to you. When you go alone, then he might harm you, take revenge on you, whatever it is. So because of this, he joined this deputation and came to Medina Munawwara to meet Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And when he came to Medina Munawwara, when the deputation came in front of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the people said, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this is the person who killed Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So immediately he read the kalima and embraced Islam in front of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When this happened, then Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if one person brings Iman, this is more better for me than killing 1,000 kafir also, non-believers also. So the person bringing Iman, I love that so much more than killing thousands of kafirs also. Otherwise, Nabi Karim Sallallahu accepted his bringing of Iman, and accepted it. So when he accepted the kalima, and then brought Iman on Hazrat Nabi Karim Sallallahu, then Nabi Sallallahu told him that if you can, if possible for you, then try and stay away from me. Go away from, just stay somewhere far away from me. I know you'd like to stay near Medina Munawwara, near me or whatever it is, but if you can stay away from me, or stay far away from me, that will be better for you. That is my wish and my desire is that. Because when he could come in front of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the thought was that Hamza will come to the mind of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the thought will come to him, and then he won't benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat. The nur of Nabuwwat, that will be blocked away, because that heart is being, the love in the heart is being blocked by the memory coming back to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So to be kind to Hazrat Washi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you stay far away, but still too you can benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat, you can benefit and follow the whatever it is, and you can be nearer, although it will be near to me, but you won't benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat, because that sorrow and sadness will always come again and again to me. So because of that, he went away from Medina Munawwara. There's one small little poem mentioned in this regard. Said, I am in need of the closeness of my beloved. I want to be close to my beloved, but he wants me to be separated from him. So because of that, I have sacrificed my desires on his desires. So it shows here that the Sahaba Karam's their main habit was, or the approach was, they should sacrifice their desires for the desire of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The whole life, look at history of Islam, will find the Sahaba always sacrifice their desire for the desire of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he also has a Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Imagine, he knew that if I stay in Medina Munawwara, I'll benefit much more. I can cover up for whatever I did, whatever it is. But because Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him that no, rather you stay away from me, it will benefit more from me. Immediately he sacrificed his desire and he accepted the desire of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he went away to somewhere else. After Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away, then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu became the Khalifa also. Then after they went to fight, and other wars were taking place. We also mentioned other wars, and he was taking part in other wars also. But one war came, was that Aswad Anasi, who proclaimed to be a prophet, a false prophet he was. And this group of Sahaba went to fight against him, and he was so brave that he tried to look for ways how to kill Aswad Anasi, and he made sure he killed him. Then after people saying that you are the person who killed Hamza, said, yes, I killed him, but I also killed Aswad Anasi also. That's what that he said. Otherwise, he wiped over the wrong, but something good he did. So that was the nature of the Sahaba. Whenever they did something wrong, should do something good immediately after that to cover up the wrong. And that's also part of the hadith, meaning of a hadith decision. So here, mentioned that why did Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tell Hazrat Bashir go away? And whereas Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Rahmatul Alameen, his mercy to all mankind. So this was just explained now, that was that because the nur of Nabuwwat will be deprived of the nur of Nabuwwat if we stay near. Stay far away, he won't be deprived of the nur of Nabuwwat if we go away somewhere. So the Shaykh also gave the answer that this was for kindness towards Hazrat Bashir radiallahu anhu, that we stay far away, he will still benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat from the Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because he understood very well also that what I did was a very great crime against Islam. I killed the uncle of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, who was very brave, who had a lot of Nabi Sallallahu had a lot of support because of Hamza radiallahu anhu. And when Umar accepted Islam, he was there at the door and told Nabi Karim Sallallahu let Umar come. If you got good intention, no problem. If you got very intention, it will be his sword and his head it will be. So he supported Nabi Karim Sallallahu from the beginning, Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anhu. So that because of that, he also knew that because I did so much harm to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's uncle, Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anhu. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always will have the thought will come to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always. And because of the thought coming to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that the love I suppose get from him, I won't get the love from him. So what Nabi Sallallahu has told me to give me a way out, how to solve the problem of mine. And that's why he was happy with that solution of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. At the same time, when this incident took place of Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anhu, at that time Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took an oath also. He said that not because one is they made him shaheed, that's a difference, but when they disfigured him, that became more worse, he said. And because of that, he said that, he took an oath, he said that I will take revenge on 70 of the people in the revenge of Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anhu. I will kill 70 of the people, I will get them killed. And until I don't take this revenge, I won't be satisfied, he said. That's why at that time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this ayat in the Quran, وَإِنْ أَعْقَبْتُمْ فَأَعْقِبُوا مِثْلِ مَا عُوقِبْتُمْ بِهِ وَلَئِنْ صَبَرْتُمْ لَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لِلصَّابِرِينَ. So Allah said, when you take revenge, then take revenge equal. How much that harmed you, so much revenge you must take. Don't take more revenge than that. And if you make sabr, that is better for you. So yeah, and this ayat came down to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam immediately was from that oath of his. He broke that oath and he gave kafara and broke that oath and said, no, I won't kill people. Now rather I make sabr, have patience. So here Nabi Karim Sallallahu is also teaching us that whenever Allah Ta'ala's command comes down, then you must obey the law of Allah Subhanahu, command of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. No matter what your heart says, no matter how much of anger you got within yourself, how much of hurt you got, leave that aside. Accept the law of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, or success lies in that. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu physically also showed it to us now. So imagine when your uncle has been murdered in such a way and disfigured in such a way, how much hurt will feel. But when Allah Ta'ala said sabr is better, immediately he broke this kafara of his also, and that oath of his, he gave kafara also, and said rather accept the word of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So maybe we learn also that whenever anything happens in our life, see what is the command of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Whether it agree with our nature or not, follow the law of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Success will lie in that also. Like the Shaykh Rahmatullah said, the example is, if somebody got to murder your own son, and although as a father you'll see weigh the situation and say, no, I forgive him, but when a person comes in front of you, the thought will definitely come to you again that this person murdered my son. So that thing which is a thing which is natural, which you cannot overcome those things. So here also Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so same thing here also, that when the issues come in front of him, automatically that thought will come in front of him. But if you don't come in front of him, that thought will not come in front of him. And although he is forgiven and he accepted Islam already, but still that thought will come because of that lineage was Hamza, who was the uncle of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when the sorrow comes to a person's heart, it comes unannounced. It comes just on its own. It comes. There's no reservation when sorrow comes to the person's heart, when the thought comes to the person's heart. So just the harm should, the wish is to stay in Madinah Munawwara, then this harm should come towards him. When the thought of the hurt will come to the heart of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then definitely it will have an effect on Hazrat Bashir radiallahu anhu, and he won't benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat. And because of that, his spiritual progress will be hampered, will be stopped. So because of this, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed me a way how to not to lose in spiritually also in any way. So in this way he benefit from the nur of Nabuwwat also at the same time. And we know that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never ever took revenge for himself. Never. Whatever he did was for the sake of Islam, for the sake of Deen he did. Never took revenge for himself. Just as Shaykh Rahmatullah in his majlis, he said that please don't never ever oppose any friend of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Especially he said that the ulama, don't ever talk bad of the ulama, don't hurt the ulama at any time. If you don't have any liking for somebody, you don't have any aqidah for anyone, there's nothing wrong in that. If you haven't got any confidence in somebody, you don't confide in somebody, there's nothing wrong in that. But that doesn't mean that you must start opposing that person. And Allah Ta'ala won't ask you that why you don't have aqidah with a certain person, why you don't have that confidence and trust in a certain person. That Allah Ta'ala won't ask you those things there. Then why you not get bad to that person? Why not befriend that person? That Allah won't ask for all those things there. But if you have some evil thoughts of somebody in your heart, you've got some enmity with somebody, then there Allah Ta'ala is going to ask you, why is this? So this will come under the hadith where فَقَدْ أَذَنْتُ بِالْحَرْبِ. Allah Ta'ala says that you have declared war against me. So it shows that any pious person, and especially ulama Hazrat Shaykh writes, they don't ever talk bad of them, don't fall into their differences, stay away from whatever their differences, and keep your heart clean from them. Otherwise, you're going to be in the problem afterwards. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah says nowadays people's habits also start to say. And when some alim, for example, a famous alim, whatever it is, if some people who are against him and they got some type of disagreement with him, and if they go to say something, then immediately you find that people start talking bad about the people. They won't even wait to make inquiries. Whatever the speaking, is it true or not true? They won't even wait for that also. And if something going to come in the newspaper, or in the press, or in the media, something going to come, then immediately find that people started passing comments against the person. And we know very well the newspapers and even the media, many things are always lies also inside. Without any proof, they put inside, it comes inside. So our situation is such, whenever anything comes into the media, immediately we start accepting those things there, and we take action according to that, and we start talking bad of the person. But that is something which is very, very dangerous for us. So everything we see in the media is not the truth always. But you got to try and siphon all the messages that come in the media, in the paper, whatever it is, so that you got to have your composure properly. That don't try and have any enmity with anybody. Even if the alim did something also which is wrong, whatever it is, what right you got to speak against him? We got no right to speak against him. He is responsible for his actions, whatever he's doing. But if you're going to falter, then you're responsible for your actions, and you're answerable for that. Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi also mentions this, that if you see an alim doing something wrong with your own eyes, you witness him doing something, then also don't have any doubts in heart against him. Leave his condition to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you know, this person at night, in the darkness of night, he turned towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He cried, the tears of repentance come from his eyes, of regret comes from his eyes, and he turned towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah accepts his tawbah, and you don't know of the tawbah he has made. And he has the broken relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has restored the broken relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for your whole life, you're having the bad thoughts of him in your mind, then you have spoiled your akhirat already now. Because he has already restored his relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making tawbah already. And yet you still talking bad of him, having a bad thought in your mind about him. So you are going to be at fault now. And as Sahab says that in the reality you'll find that many of us are in this problem here, that the pious people, when you hear something against them, they immediately want to open our tongues against them, have bad thoughts against them, and want to propagate all the badness of the people amongst them. That's the sickness and the problem we are involved nowadays. We should try and overcome the sickness. And everybody speak anything doesn't mean you got to give an answer to that and go side with them also. No, you could be virtuous yourself and make your investigation and see if that person did it or never did it, and if he did it also, by us opposing, what are we going to benefit by that? If that person makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what's happened to you now? And it comes in the hadith also that the person makes tawbah to Allah from whatever guna, a person makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now you try and announce his guna to everybody amongst everybody, then you won't die till you don't commit the same guna. Until before you don't die, you don't commit that guna, you won't die, in other words. It shows how dangerous the situation is, that a person makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, And also remember, a person who's a learned person, he knows how to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we who are ignorant, we don't know how to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also. So where do we stand compared to them? And if they make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they have restored their broken relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we are going to be the losers. So rather stay away from this type of situation where people talk bad of the pious people, of the ulama. Stay away from all those type of things. Just don't take part in those type of discussions. Stay away from there. Inshallah, you will stay from all this harms, and the biggest harm is here to create war with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So see that we try and stay away from this. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah said that who is innocent? Nobody is innocent. Only the Anbiya Islam, they are innocent only. Besides them, nobody is innocent. And our Sunnah wal Jamaat also, our belief is that also, that only the Anbiya al-Islam are innocent. And the Sahaba Kiram, yes, they were human beings like us, but Allah Ta'ala saved them from making guna. Allah Ta'ala looked after them and from making guna. So they are not masoom, but they are safe from making guna. And because of that contact with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because of taking direct benefits from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they had a capacity, capability in them where they would follow every command of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and they were safe from doing wrong things. So how can you talk bad of somebody else now? So what to encapsulate the whole thing now, what was mentioned here, that we should try and see that we shouldn't have evil thoughts of any pious person in our hearts, and don't even try and have enmity with any pious person. So to involve yourself and take sides with people and try and bring about a movement to act against some pious people, friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try and avoid those things. Don't try and take part in those type of things. But as I mentioned, explain that if that person has made tawbah already, then you are in a problem already. And if that person becomes a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're going to hurt his personality, his heart, his feeling, whatever it is, then you're in a problem, because you got involved with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then many people don't understand this part. When they have difficulties in their lives, they have problems they don't understand where the problem comes. And the problem just multiplies more and more and more. They don't realize the problem comes because of this. You're talking bad of the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a wink of the eye. Just talk bad of pious people, whatever it is, and you don't realize the repercussion of that comes into life. Many people you find, when they land up in a lot of problems, then what the ulama say now, see whose rights you have violated. Pandor whose rights were violated, and try and patch up those rights. This is the same thing here. That violate the rights of the pious person by talking bad of him all the time. So that's why it must try and see that you to look after ourselves, monitor our behavior, that we must not be such that we talk bad of somebody, and especially ulama, where they know what is right and what is wrong, they know what is good, what is bad, they know how to ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try and keep ourselves reserved from not to speak bad against the ulama and the pious people. And in other words, to talk bad of the ulama and to break relations with the ulama is such a dangerous thing that this can lead to your destruction. I say that we cannot do anything, we cannot do much, we are very weak, we know that, but at least do so much that they don't talk, that we keep our heart clean from all the pious people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very, very important. We can at least we can do this much also, then we are successful. Allah give us tawfiq of understanding and practicing on a small part of the lengthy hadith. This is only one part has been mentioned here, but this shows that how important it is that we don't go into that the problem of going to talk bad of the pious people, those people who are friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the learned people, the ulama. Don't talk bad of them. Leave them whatever they did, answerable for whatever they are going to do. We're answerable for what we are going to do. And imagine this, all the small hadiths mentioned by Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What is the main purpose of it? To bring about a good and clean society in existence. If this wasn't there, how terrible should be our society? So show, and Islam is teaching us how to live a clean society. Otherwise, we have bad thoughts on somebody, then we're going to talk bad of them, then we put allegations on them, and vision where the thing will last. So rebirth, and then you can find Bhutan come after it. And from there, how far the thing is up to. So you got to cut the root of all these things and think about a clean and good society. So they think good of everybody. When you think good of somebody, other people think good of you also. But if you think bad of everybody, other people are going to think bad of you also. So rather try and look after ourselves and make look after ourselves, that we don't end up in the problem by hurting somebody's feelings or by hurting somebody's rights. Always keep that in mind. Allah give us tawfiq of understanding and practicing.